If you're overthinking, it probably feels like your mind never shuts off. One thought triggers another, and before you know it, you're stuck replaying conversations, imagining worst-case futures, and creating problems that don't even exist yet. You try to relax, but the harder you try, the louder your thoughts become. And the most exhausting part is that it feels productive, like you're solving something, like you're protecting yourself. But in reality, overthinking doesn't protect you. It drains you. It steals your peace, your sleep, your energy, and your ability to be fully present in your life. The Stoics recognized this pattern thousands of years ago. They didn't call it overthinking. They called it disturbance of the mind. And their solution wasn't to positive think it away or distract themselves endlessly. Their solution was a reset, a return to what actually matters, a return to what is under your control, right now, in this moment. Most overthinking begins when you confuse imagination with reality. Your mind creates future scenarios, judgments, outcomes, reactions, and consequences, and then your body reacts as if those visions are already happening. Your heart speeds up, your chest tightens, your breathing becomes shallow. You suffer over things that do not exist. The Stoics taught that suffering has two sources: events themselves and the stories we tell about those events. And the second source is almost always larger than the first. You are not disturbed by what happens, you are disturbed by what you believe about what happens. This is the core of the Stoic reset. Right now, wherever you are, nothing catastrophic is happening in this exact second. You are not being attacked. You are not losing everything in this moment. You are breathing. Your heart is beating. The floor beneath you is solid. The present is neutral, far more often than your thoughts suggest, but your mind drags you out of the present constantly, pulling you into imagined futures and distorted pasts. The Stoic reset begins by pulling you back into now. When the mind spirals, the first move is not to argue with the thoughts. Fighting thoughts gives them more energy. Instead, you observe them. You watch them the way you would watch clouds passing. You don't chase them. You don't try to trap them. You simply notice. This creates space, and space weakens their power. Your thoughts are not commands. They are suggestions. And many of them are terrible suggestions. Overthinking convinces you that every situation is urgent, every decision is permanent, every mistake is catastrophic. The Stoic reset teaches the opposite. Most things are temporary. Most outcomes are survivable. Most fears are exaggerated echoes of uncertainty. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to choose calm instead of chaos. You are allowed to step back from your mind. Overthinking thrives on the illusion of control. You replay conversations because you think you can perfect the past. You worry about the future because you think you can prevent pain by suffering in advance. But suffering in advance does not reduce pain. It multiplies it. The Stoics were brutally honest about this. They understood that there are only two categories in life: what you control and what you don't. Your thoughts, your actions, your effort, your values, these are yours. Other people's opinions, the outcome of events, the passage of time, the behavior of the world, these are not. Trying to control what is not yours is the root of anxiety. Every time you overthink, you are trying to control the uncontrollable. The reset comes when you drop what was never yours to carry. You don't need to solve your whole life tonight. You don't need to analyze every possible future version of yourself. You don't need to replay every moment that ever embarrassed you. You need to return to what you can do now. One breath, one action, one decision in alignment with your values. There is a quiet strength in lowering the volume of the world. The Stoics practiced something called voluntary hardship. They would occasionally live with less, eat simpler food, sleep on the floor, expose themselves to minor discomfort, not to punish themselves, but to remember that they could survive without everything they feared losing. Overthinking often comes from the belief that you cannot handle what might come. The reset reminds you that you already handle far more than you realize. You are more resilient than your anxious mind wants you to believe. Overthinking also thrives on identity. You don't just think a thought, you believe it says something about who you are. If I feel anxious, something must be wrong with me. If I doubt myself, I must be weak. But emotions are not identity. Thoughts are not identity. You are the one who experiences them, not the one defined by them. You can feel anxious and still be strong. You can feel uncertain and still be capable. You can feel overwhelmed and still be moving forward. The Stoic reset doesn't demand that you eliminate feelings. It teaches you to feel without being ruled. Most overthinking is rooted in fear of judgment. You worry about what people think. You worry about how you appeared. You worry about whether you said the right thing. You worry about rejection, embarrassment, failure. The Stoics viewed public opinion as noise. Not because people don't matter, but because basing your self-worth on their reactions makes your peace depend on things you cannot control. If someone misunderstands you, you can't force clarity. If someone dislikes you, you can't force affection. If someone judges you, you can't rewrite their perspective. But you can choose to act with integrity anyway. Overthinking tries to calculate approval. The Stoic reset chooses character instead. You may be misjudged, you may be overlooked, you may be criticized unfairly, and you will survive all of it. The mind also overthinks when it is tired, underfed, overstimulated, and overloaded. Not every mental struggle is philosophical. Some are biological. If you are endlessly scrolling, sleeping poorly, eating inconsistently, and living in constant noise, your nervous system will stay in a state of threat. A threatened nervous system produces anxious thoughts as a survival mechanism. The Stoic reset respects the body as part of the mind. Silence is medicine. Stillness is medicine. Simple routines are medicine. Overthinking hates stillness because in stillness it loses its disguise of productivity. When you sit quietly and do nothing, you begin to notice how many thoughts were never necessary to begin with. Here is a powerful Stoic reflection. One day, you will be gone. The people you overthink about will move on. The moments you replay will fade. The mistakes you amplify will dissolve into time. This is not meant to be depressing. It is meant to be freeing. Most of what you fear will not matter for long, and what truly matters rarely needs panic. Your life is happening now. Not in the past conversation, not in the future outcome, now. You were not born to be a prisoner of your own mind. Another hidden source of overthinking is comparison. You measure your timeline against someone else's highlight reel. You diagnose your pace as failure. You treat someone else's success as proof that you are behind. The Stoics rejected this entirely. They believed each person's duty is to walk their own path as well as possible, not to race others on different roads. Comparison distorts your reality. It feeds urgency where patience is needed. It feeds shame where growth is happening. You are not behind. You are where you are. The Stoic reset is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming unshakable. You still feel, you still care, but you no longer let every passing thought decide your behavior. You stop reacting to mental noise as if it were truth. When overthinking hits, ask yourself one question. Is this within my control right now? If the answer is no, release it. If the answer is yes, act on it simply and without drama. This single question can dismantle entire spirals. You don't need to predict the future to live well today. Overthinking also thrives on perfectionism. You want the perfect choice, the perfect timing, the perfect version of yourself before you act. But perfection is an illusion built to delay courage. The Stoics valued progress over perfection, action over endless deliberation. They knew that clarity comes from doing, not from thinking yourself into certainty. You will never think your way into confidence. You build confidence by surviving action. Your mind may still race sometimes. That is human. The Stoic reset is not a one-time fix. It is a practice, a daily return, a moment-by-moment choice to anchor yourself in what is real instead of what is imagined. You don't need to silence your mind. You need to stop obeying it blindly. When you feel overwhelmed by thought, look around you and name 5 physical objects you can see. Feel your breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Let your nervous system know that you are safe now. Not in theory, now. You are not your worst thought. You are not your anxious prediction. You are not the story your fear tells you at night. You are the one who chooses how to respond even when your mind tries to hijack you. The Stoics believed that peace comes not from arranging the world to your liking, but from arranging your mind to meet the world as it is. This is the deepest reset. You stop trying to bend reality. You bend your expectations. You bend your reactions. You bend your attachment to outcomes. And in that flexibility, you become strong. Overthinking feels like tension. The Stoic reset feels like release.